everyone. Hope you are all safe and well and had such a lovely Easter weekend. We are on week 14 and Monday's reading of the Bible in a year. And today I thought it'd be really good to look at the Old Testament passage, which is taken from Deuteronomy chapters 31 verse 14 to chapter 32 verse 47. There's so much to unpick in this passage, so I thought it'd be really good just to look at Deuteronomy chapters 32 verses 1 to 12. This is a bit where after God has commanded Moses to write down a song and teach it to the Israelites, Moses writes down a song to teach the Israelites. Verses 1 to 12 goes, "Listen, ye heavens, and I will speak. Hear, ye earth, the words of my mouth. Let my teaching fall like rain, and my words descend like dew, like showers on new grass, like abundant rain on tender plants. I will proclaim the name of the Lord. I praise the greatness of our God. He is the rock, his works are perfect, and all his ways are just. A faithful God who does no wrong, upright and just is he. They are corrupt and not his children. To their shame they are a warped and crooked generation. Is this the way you repay the Lord, you foolish and unwise people? Is he not your Father, your Creator, who made you and formed you? Remember the days of old. Consider the generations long past. Ask your father, and he will tell you, your elders, and they will explain to you, when the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided all mankind, he set up boundaries for the peoples according to the number of the sons of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob his allotted inheritance. In a desert land he found him, in a barren and howling waste. He shielded him and cared for him. He guarded him as the apple of his eye, like an eagle that stirs up its nest and hovers over its young, that spreads its wings to catch them and carries them on its pinions. The Lord alone led him, no foreign god was with him." I feel like the bit that really stuck out to me, in spite of Moses kind of telling off the Israelites, the bits that really stuck out to me was just Moses' faithfulness throughout it all and God's power within that, like Moses' recognition of how powerful and how in control God is. I guess essentially Moses is worshipping in the wilderness. He is so acknowledging of God's goodness. He says in verses 3, he says, "I will proclaim the name of the Lord. Oh, praise the greatness of our God." He is still worshipping, and he is still so trusting in God. He's still so in awe of God's goodness in that. He describes God as the rock, and he also describes him as a father, and I think that shows just a real interworking of God's power. He's a rock, he's reliant, and he's strong, but also of the intimacy of a father within that. And then he refers back to the time of Jacob. He declares how God had shielded Jacob, protected Jacob when Jacob was going through all that he was going through as well. I just feel like it's just such a testimony of God's goodness when stuff is seemingly not going so well. Moses, he basically says his works are perfect and all his ways are just. Like he knows that this is part of God's plan, and as much as it might seem rubbish, it's part of God's plan, and God is still there with him. God is leading him and guiding him and has planned all this out, knows what the outcome is. It says so many times throughout the whole passage as well. I think it really struck me when it said, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." I think it says that about 3 times within this couple of chapters. It is so certain. It says do not be afraid or terrified. The Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. It's so certain in what it's saying. There's no doubt about it. God is with us throughout all this. So I guess it probably feels like we're in a little bit of a wilderness right now. And I think from this passage in Deuteronomy, we can really take encouragement just to know that we worship a God who is above it all. Let's use this time to set new rhythms and to carry on worshipping God in the same way that Moses did, to learn more about what relationship with the Father looks like, to recognise that we can be strong and we can be courageous in this. Yeah, so that's my prayer, that we'll know and we'll hold on to the truth that God is with us, and that he has things planned and that are greater than this, that we can continue to worship him in the wilderness that is COVID-19 or anything else that's going on in our lives.